The downsizing of newsrooms is a real problem, and I think it's worldwide. There's a lack of investment in journalism, and there's a lot of reliance as well on technology tools, like we were just talking about AI. So I think it's becoming harder to get the attention of journalists with a pitch or even a press release, like an announcement. At Clear Story, we work with B2B tech startups, and they might be at an early stage. They might have just launched their first solution. So they're at a point that we have to build the reputation and the brand awareness. And that makes it even more challenging to attract the journalists' attention because journalists would be getting thousands of emails on a daily basis. How do you stand out? That's the question, I guess, that everybody's trying to answer. I think it's always helpful to find something topical that your client can talk about and make sure that you provide valuable insights and valuable content to journalists that actually makes sense to them and to their publication. Obviously, within the context that your client can talk about, right? There has to be an overlap there. Um, and I suppose to maintain relationships as well is really important. Meeting journalists at events, and maybe if you have the chance to meet them, I don't know, for a coffee or something, that's always a good idea. Now, having said that, newsrooms are smaller, so they have less time to actually go out and meet you for a coffee. But if you have the chance, do it, is what I'd say. Having the contact alone is not enough. It might get you in the door, but it doesn't mean that they're gonna accept your pitch idea just because they know you. They might read your email, but if they don't like the story, then you're not getting anywhere anyway. So I do think ideally you need both. You need both a strong story and a strong contact. If you have a journalist or an editor who is a good friend or somebody that you've worked with a lot, it's easier to start a conversation. Maybe you can even brainstorm around an idea. But ideally, again, if you assume that they might not necessarily have time to have this brainstorm session with you, even though you know them. So I'd say aim for both. I think with this level of growth, when it's going very fast, they definitely would need some proactive brand management, I suppose, brand awareness management, right? Where they'd want to announce the growth. And I suppose they want to be on top of the narrative as well of how are they positioned in the market in relation to that growth? Like, what's the messaging? There obviously needs to be an initial conversation so that they can decide what their goals are, how they want to be perceived. Um, but it's definitely smarter to have a more proactive strategy than in that case, so that you can, as the company, you can be putting out the message that you want and the positioning that you want, rather than just reacting to what might get picked up organically. So proactive strategy would be like writing a press release announcing something about your company, maybe a new product or an expansion plan or new jobs. So you write the press release and you issue it to your list of journalists and editors, as well as pitching ideas to journalists and editors, offering your spokesperson to talk about a certain topic. It might be something that's already on the news, and maybe your spokesperson can react to that and give an insightful comment around it, or it can be something that you suggest, like a story that you might suggest. Would you like to speak to this founder about how he started his company and the challenges he's faced, and just to keep that activity going as well, just to make sure that you don't miss on the timing as well.